And now, live from Level 5 Productions on the island of Milleronia, it's The Larry Miller Show. Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. America, and everyone who still has 17 gifts to buy. Hi, folks, and welcome back to the Larry Miller Show. I'm Larry Miller, but in a way, aren't we all? And boy, oh boy, there's nothing. I'm sure we're all the same on this. You keep thinking, December, when did it become December? You know, coming up to the end of the year, Christmas and Hanukkah, come on, what are you doing? When did we get this far in the year? Well, that's the way it is every year, isn't it? And that's the way it should be. Suddenly you bend down to pick up a fork, you sit back up again and say, well, holy mackerel, it's December. Well, happy December to you and all your families and loved ones and friends. And, well, if you're as happy as you could be, as we are, here on Milleronia today, and, the island is pretty well lit up, by the way. People really do that, as much as I allow them, of course, and they are as festive as they could be, as much as I allow them, and, I'm sorry, that phony meanness just gets to me every once in a while. Anyway, it's a terrific time of the year, and I'll be telling you a little more about that here and there, as the show goes on, and of course that music. Yes, dare I say that Hollywood holiday music? Well, no, actually, it's not that. It's okay. It's Hollywood music. It's our music, and we love it. And that's, of course, the Robert Walker Jr. Orchestra and the Ruth Anderson Dancers, featuring boy tenor Brad Simpson, asking a follow-up to last week's musical question: is it true that soda jerks were actually nice guys? They sure were, Brad. And by the way, a little gift to all of you. Colonel Jeff just looked up before we started recording here that, according to the internet, the term soda jerk was actually a pun on soda clerk, which is the official title of their jobs. I didn't know that. That clerk became jerk over the years in slang, and well, there you are. Well, now soda jerk. But that's one of those things. Wow, how do you like that? Okay, I'm glad to know that. But I'll tell you what, Brad, good question. Folks, for many decades, the nicest local boys in towns all over America got those jobs and had the fastest scoops and spoons and napkins and smiles. They might not have been the tallest and handsomest fellas in their area, but those smiles were shiny and real, because the prettiest girls from miles around always came in their saddle shoes and skirts and sat at that counter giggling and talking and taking everyone's hearts away. And by the way, all the soda jerks were told by the stores, by the managers, by their executives, to be that way, to be entertaining, to talk, to really, get the folks going and smile at them and talk to them. They were outgoing, friendly, charming, and, they would always do, those things. You could call them old jokes, but they were good jokes that, a couple in their 70s would walk in and sit down and they could say, oh, hello, Mr. Benson, you didn't tell me you were bringing your daughter in today. And the kind of thing that you've heard before, but that everyone could smile at and say, oh, Robbie, that was funny. And you know what? Those guys were far more entertaining than anyone else in the store. So, yes, Brad, good question. But is it true that soda jerks were actually nice guys? More than that, they were great guys. And a little thought here, mentioning, two obituaries for Ruth Anderson. And I mentioned her in the beginning. Then she recently passed away at 91 and was a pioneering electronic music composer. She founded an electronic music studio in 1968 at Hunter College in New York. on the Upper East Side of Manhattan there. And that's where my mom went to school, by the way. It was I think it was a women's college at the time. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But boy, she walked there from Brooklyn, and the subway was a nickel, I guess, and whew, it was a ways to go, but a terrific school. I hope it still is now. And Robert Walker Jr. was, well, a story of a real Hollywood family scion. His father, Robert Walker, a really good leading man, and his mother was the great Jennifer Jones. You would recognize Robert Jr. from a classic role on Star Trek and many other parts. And so, well, it's a family member we're happy here, the Colonel and myself, to send a tip of the hat to and say, good for you. Well done. And by Amazon. That's right, Amazon. You're looking for gifts? We're going to be talking about gifts, but if you're looking for gifts, come on. Where are you going to go better than Amazon? Right now, not just today, right now. Well, after you listen to the show. But then go to Amazon, and you could get there 100 different ways. Yes, of course, on a computer, iPhone, whatever it is. But we always say, and I always tell you, let us take you there. Don't worry about that. Go to our website, LarryMillerPodcast.com. Who's on the mountain? Tom Mix. Oh, boy, those fruitcakes can get to you. In any case, do that. Go to our website, and we have a banner that says Amazon. Click that banner, and we'll take you there. You click that banner, then go take a nap in your lazy boy chair, and you can put a magazine over your face and just hit it for some Z's. We'll get you to Amazon, and we'll let you know. In any case, folks, do that. Go to Amazon. And yes, not just this time of year, but every day of the year, they send us a percentage of whatever you order. And we like that, and they like that, and you like that. Everybody likes that. I'm just looking at our dogs. I think they like it, too. It's hard to tell with them sometimes because they're on the floor sleeping. But they like it, too. And so join Amazon and go there for whatever you want. And that brings me to my favorite part of the show, the joke of the week. And well, this is a favorite part of the show, boy. I love passing on jokes and keeping them alive. And this is a good one. The Colonel and I both got a chuckle out of this. And it's about a 75-year-old man who goes to his doctor, and the doctor gives him, the full exam. And at the end of the exam, the doctor comes out with a little jar and hands it to him and says, now, this is the last part. You take this home tonight. I need a sample of your semen for a number of tests, and just bring it back here tomorrow. And the fellow says, all right, okay. Well, what else are you going to say to a good doctor? And he takes the jar and heads home. Next day, comes right back to the doctor's office and hands him the jar, and it's empty. There's nothing in it. The doctor said, what happened? And he said, Doc, I'll be honest with you, nothing. Nothing happened. I got home, and last night, I tried using my right hand and left hand, and nothing. And I called my wife in, and she did the same thing, right hand, left hand, just nothing. Nothing got done there, and, then we just looked at each other, and I called our neighbor and a lovely young woman, some newlyweds who had just moved in there, and she was very nice and tried the same thing, nothing. Right hand, left hand, nothing. And she said to them, gee, I'm sorry. Do you want me to call my husband over? He'll give it a try. And that's when the guy said, don't bother him. Just let's forget about it. And he takes the jar back and went back to the doctor's office the next day. And the doctor says, I've never heard of something like this. And the guy said, yeah, none of us could get the jar open. Well, we got a good laugh out of that. I hope you did too. And yes, as always, if you did, you know what? Pass it along. It's like good music. There's nothing better than keeping a good joke around for many more years. And that brings me to my second favorite part of the show, the Poetry Corner. See there, that string quartet could have opened the jar, I'll tell you what. Okay, this is a lovely poem and a timely one by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. And I've read from her before. She was an American, lived from 1850 to 1919, and her most famous piece, which we've done here, is called Solitude, which has the well-known line, "Laugh and the world laughs with you, weep and you weep alone." A great writer and a great poet, and this is hers today, Christmas Fancies. When Christmas bells are swinging above the fields of snow, we hear sweet voices ringing from lands of long ago, and etched on vacant places are half-forgotten faces of friends we used to cherish and loves we used to know, when Christmas bells are swinging above the fields of snow. Uprising from the ocean of the present surging near, we see with strange emotion that is not free from fear, that continent Elysian, long vanished from our vision, youth's lovely lost Atlantis, so mourned for and so dear, uprising from the ocean of the present surging near. When gloomy gray Decembers are roused to Christmas mirth, the dullest life remembers there once was joy on earth, and draws from youth's recesses some memory it possesses, and gazing through the lens of time exaggerates its worth. When gloomy gray December is roused to Christmas mirth, when hanging up the holly or mistletoe I wis, each heart recalls some folly that lit the world with bliss. Not all the seers and sages with wisdom of the ages can give the mind such pleasure as memories of that kiss. When hanging up the holly or mistletoe I wis. For life was made for loving, and love alone repays, as passing years are proving for all of time's sad ways. There lies a sting in pleasure, and fame gives shallow measure, and wealth is but a phantom that mocks the restless days, for life was made for loving, and only loving pays. When Christmas bells are pelting the air with silver chimes, and silences are melting to soft, melodious rhymes, let love, the world's beginning, end fear and hate and sinning. Let love, the God eternal, be worshipped in all climes, when Christmas bells are pelting the air with silver chimes. Isn't that lovely? Good for you. That's Ella Wheeler Wilcox, called Christmas Fancies. And that's sure, well, she was a good writer. She knew what words could do, and she proved it there. And now, my third favorite part of the show, Magic Movie Moment. This is a great movie, and I've seen it many times, but not in a while. And it's another one of those where, well, once I run across it, I think, oh, I've got to see that again. Rebecca from 1940, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. Book written by Daphne du Maurier. Starring, you ready for this cast? Oh, boy. Laurence Olivier, Joan Fontaine, Dame Judith Anderson, George Sanders, and so many others. Good Lord, it's a wonderful movie. And it's about, well, it's set in Manderley, which is a big mansion, and Laurence Olivier, as Max de Winter, meets, well, his wife has passed away, and there's a great mystery around that. What happened to her? And, of course, her name was Rebecca. And he meets and marries Joan Fontaine. Great actress. And in the house there is the woman who runs the place and keeps it going, Mrs. Danvers. and that's Judith Anderson. And boy, she's not kidding around. I mean, you see that face, a great actress, but you see that face and you just go, Colonel and I were saying just before that, well, you know, we all think the English are elegant and scholarly, and they are. But every so often, you know, you either read a book or see a play or see a movie, and you kind of wonder, well, they're kind of nuts in this, aren't they? And, oh, by the way, the great George Sanders is in this, too. And the magic movie moment I've chosen, it's a wonderful movie, folks. So many ups and downs and ins and outs. But at one point, Manderley, like many of the characters, is burning. And Max de Winter, Olivier, drives there in a panic to save his wife, Mrs. de Winter, Joan Fontaine. But what we see is, it's great. Well, Alfred Hitchcock, who's better than that? And we see Manderley is on fire. And it's a bad fire. It's not an easy one. And this is big, thick, 10 and 15-foot high flames. And who's there in there? Mrs. Danvers, who wanders madly through the home she loved and kept. She wanders madly through the fire-filled rooms of Manderley, and she's its prisoner to do what she does best, dream of Rebecca. So see Rebecca and live the life of love and fulfillment that Laurence Olivier and Joan Fontaine lived. And don't get caught in the flames of a prison of your own mind like Mrs. Danvers. You know, it really is just a good time of year to think of this and plan for the future and hope for that. My younger son is taking his last final exam tonight for the semester in Colorado, and he's flying home tomorrow, and I'm picking him up. Our first son is here already, going to school in aerodynamics and mechanical engineering, so our family and our doggies, asleep on the floor here, are going to have, well, 2 weeks of affection and love and laughter. Okay, that'll be me, just me, and but that's the way I like it. And laughter and love and affection make the whole season jolly to me. The boys will be playing their favorite video game, Kill, 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 and my wife will be watching every impeachment show, which she loves, and I'll be cuddling with the doggies, which they kind of like, well, sort of, not really, actually. They've had it after about 6 or 8 minutes. But you know what? I'm just teasing, because I hope your Christmas and Hanukkah are peaceful and colorful and mystical too. And yeah, for gifts, you know what? I've got to get gifts. And that's why at this time of year, exactly this time of year, I tell the story once a year of what happened with Uncle Arnie's gift. And there's a lesson in this, but I'm not even sure what it is. I'm never in time with getting gifts. I'm just not. And I'm not getting better at that. I'm getting even more knuckleheaded with it. I was at an audition. Well, this is years ago. This is 15 years ago more. And that was north in the valley here. And as I was driving home, I saw a mall. It was a new mall. And it was opening up, and it was already opened, about a month, I guess. And I just thought I'd stop in. I don't know why. I'm not much of a mall stopper-inner, but well, what the heck? Why not? And this was also about 7 or 8 miles north of us here at Stately Miller Manor. And I pulled into their lot and went into the mall, and then just, you walk around, and it's new. New things are always fun anyway, I think. And well, how's that look? Well, okay, I guess. I don't know how to analyze new stores. But there was one, I walked down the length of the whole mall, and there was suddenly, I saw a store right at the end, which is not big, not huge, but they sold music boxes. And I thought, you look at that for a second, and you blink a couple of times and say, hey, wait a minute, that's a pretty good gift, isn't it? I mean, I don't heck, I don't know anyone who really has one, but I mean real music boxes. And the sign also on the window, it said handmade by our artisan, the guy who opened the store. And, well, I thought, how do you like that? Okay, so I walked in. The place is empty. It's not so big, really. Oh, it's about 20 feet wide and about 20 feet deep. And it was filled with music boxes. And I mean every shelf, every glass shelves and wood shelves. And yeah, the guy made everything. And he came out to say hello because, after all, he's got a customer now, and it's a new mall, and he's happy. And, he said, yes, what, can I help you? He was from India, I think, and had a big smile. I said, yeah, I want to get some gifts, and I think you might be the store and the guy who could do that. Well, he started blinking. He was so happy I said that. I don't want to. He knew I want to buy things. I'm not there to window shop. And he said, yes. He said, who do you have? Folks, coincidentally, I had the entire list of gifts. I had to get 17 gifts. One for of course, my sister and her kids and a couple of cousins and my wife and our kids and so many people, my goddaughter. And I said, all right, let's start with this. I'm looking for this. And I described, for instance, my goddaughter. She's great. And she just got married, by the way. She's a terrific human being. And he said, yes, come with this. This guy picked one out that was just beautiful. And I looked at him and said, get a load of you. You're really something. This is work. How much? They were all in the same price range, sort of $90 to $150. And I think that's about right for gift time, for the gift giving season. I said, I'll take it. Put it over there on the counter by the register. And he didn't do that. I said, I know which one. Just, and he's saying, let's go. And I realized again, we can do this. I said, I think with you, I can do this. I can go clean. And he says, what is this clean? What? Clean. Go clean. I said, go clean. I means I want to get everything done I need to get done. Every gift on this list. And then I'll be clean as a whistle. And that means you go clean. And he was thrilled. And he took me, who's next? And I said, all right, we'll do this. One of my aunts. Fine. And he took me, I'm telling you, he said, describe, who is this? I did briefly in about, 7-8 seconds. He said, come. Yes, here, come. And he takes me over. Perfect. Again. I mean, right on the button. I said, done. And then we said, my wife and then the kids, done. And the same thing with unbelievable. Oh, everyone I knew, my sister and her kids, folks, every single gift. And we did it. And then I said to him halfway through, now listen, how do I do this? Can you mail these for me? Yes. He was so happy and so nice. Now there's still no one in the store. And he called his family out, his wife and their kids. They had 4 kids. And he said, yes, you'll give the address and everything. And I had it all down. I had made a list. That was the one smart thing I've ever done. I made a list and I had it with me. And they said yes. And he said, we'll send it to, what was it? Not FedEx or something like that. It was, or UPS. It was something good, a good outfit, a regular American professional outfit. He said, yes, we send to them. They come to pick it up and everything. And then you'll pay the charge now. I was fantastic. Folks, 17 gifts. And we lined them up. And this family was going, well, like a factory. They were in order. They go, boom. They had all sorts of boxes. and the soft stuff, what's it called? The plastic foam stuff, the packing peanuts. And they were loading it up. I gave them the address, and he said, "You're clean." I said, "You know what? I'm clean. I went clean." And I was happy. I mean, I was thrilled. And he did that. Whew, and he said, "All right, now let's pay." I had a credit card, and we did everything in that one trip. And I was so happy. I was tired. The family, of course, is exhausted from everything they did, and he is. And then I made a big mistake. I said to him, I was so happy. I said, "Boy, I'll tell you what." He said, "You went clean." I said, "Yes, you took me there. You made me go clean, and now I'm clean." And then I said, "Whew, boy, I just wish you had something for Uncle Arnie." And because this is a guy, it's not easy to shop for. And his face dropped. He said, "Uncle Arnie?" And I said, "Don't stop it. Don't worry about him. He said, "What does he do? What?" Because he could do anything. And you know that this guy was thrilled. He wanted to go clean with me. And I said, "Please, you did great. You did a great job. This is a great store. Uncle Arnie look, he fought in Europe in World War II, and then he went back to France. He's an artist. He started out in the streets there, and he did well. He was a good artist. It was great. And then he came back and he became an art teacher in New York City, and he's just a tough guy, but he reads poetry, and he said, the guy, you could tell the guy's eyes were going. He said, here. He pulled me over to a place, and it was a pirate ship on top of the music box. And you know what? Forgive me. It's not him. It's just, he's going to be a tough cookie here. I don't know what to get. He says, wait. And he takes me to another music box in his store that he made by hand. And he says, I want you to go clean. I want you to be clean. And I said, I am. You did so well here. You were great. This stuff is beautiful. No, he says, no. He shows me again a couple more things. They weren't right. They just weren't right for Uncle Arnie. And I did my best, and I was happy. I said, "You're great. Your family is great. I hope you make $1 zillion a week here in your new store. And you know what? This stuff is beautiful. But don't worry about Uncle Arnie. You can't find anything for him. I'll run into it. I'll think of something or other." And I shook hands with him and smiled and waved at the family, and they were also crushed. And I said, bye-bye. Oh, now it's about 4:00, and I headed out of the store there and headed back the other way down the whole length of the mall. And it wasn't so long, about 100 feet, I'm passing some other stores, and I heard the sound of feet behind me, this flap, 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 getting louder. It was him, the guy from the store. And he was those are his feet flapping in some kind of shoe he's wearing, and it flap, 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 flap. I was out of breath, and I said, "What are you?" I turned around and smiled. "What are you doing?" And he shouted at me, "Does he drink coffee?" And I had to laugh, because God bless him, he was trying so hard. I said to him, "How does that help you?" I probably, but I don't know. I'm just going to I'll ask my wife. She'll think of something, and I'll think of something. But folks, that try on his part, that last heave of the javelin over just to go 100 yards, "Does he drink coffee?" And I almost hugged him. I said, and I was happy. I said, "God bless you. Good for you. Look at you running half the length of the mall. Just ask me if he drinks coffee. Would that help?" And you know what? He was okay. He smiled back at me, and I said, go ahead, go back to your family in your goods store there. And you know what, folks? I will always remember that. I drove home, got back in my car, and headed home, and I was thrilled. He made beautiful things, and we did 17 gifts. And you know what? That's as clean as I ever expect to be. I hope it'll be the same for you. If you have 18 people to get something for, I hope you get 17, and I hope it's all in one place. It was for me. I know that, and you know that. We know the same things. Homer is Homer, and Pluto is a planet. So remember, folks, as always, if you walked out of bed today and had a job to go to and a home to come back to and someone there who loves you, folks, the game's over and you've won, no matter what day of the year it is. Have a great one and a happy, healthy new year, and we'll see you here next time.